Hey guys, Triple H Guy 2004, just here doing my top 10 wrestling manager with wrestling announcers of all time. I'm going to start off with number one, Gordon Solie. Gordon Solie is one of the greatest announcers of all time. I don't care what anybody says, I love JR, and he's actually my number two guy, but Gordon Solie is definitely one of the best announcers. I heard a little bit of him when I was growing up from some of the tapes my dad used to have. And then we go into my era of good old JR, Jim Ross. I started listening to this guy back in WCW over at my grandparents' place because they were the only one that had cable at the time. So I watched WCW over there and I fell in love with JR from WCW, and then he came to WWE and it was all over from there. He is one of the greatest announcers, if he's the second greatest announcer in my book. And I have to put his good friend and longtime broadcast partner right there with him. I'm sorry, Jerry the King Lawler. This guy was a hell of a competitor. He knows the business so much, and he goes out there every night and he tells stories with good old JR. I'm sorry, Michael Cole is definitely not on my list, so you don't have to worry about that. My number four guy is Mike Tenay. I mean, this guy in WCW, along with Tony Schiavone and even Larry Zbyszko, who I didn't particularly like, announced WCW. And then in the later years, my number five guy joined them on the announced team in a different variation of it, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby the Brain Heenan is one of the funniest people in the wrestling business. I mean, this guy could do roast till the cows come home and everybody would still laugh at him. I mean, he was doing a roast during his own Hall of Fame induction ceremony, you know what I mean? And, the year before, 2004, when he went in the Hall of Fame, it was fun. I mean, he was funnier than any stand-up comedian I watched, and that was only for like 20-25 minutes, and he was still good. My sixth guy is his longtime colleague on WWF, the old WWF. Yes, I'm old enough to remember when it was the World Wrestling Federation. Believe it or not, is Gorilla Monsoon. Gorilla Monsoon was great on the mic. Actually, my next three guys are part of that era, and they, I believe, had an announced team together. Gorilla Monsoon was great. My next guy is, of course, Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, I mean, he's the owner, but he was also a great announcer. I loved how his dad just threw him into that position one day and said, here you go, Vince, go do this. And he's like, I never did this in my life. And he goes out and becomes one of the best announcers in the business. My number 8 guy is Jesse the Body Ventura. Jesse the Body was a great wrestler, and then he became an announcer, and he was a good announcer, and then he became the governor, and now he's gone off the grid. I don't know where he is. He's doing that conspiracy theory thing. My number 9 guy is Taz. I like Taz. I liked him on SmackDown all those years. That's all I can really say about him. My video is probably going to be cutting out in a minute, so I'm going to go to my number 10 guy, and it is not Michael Cole. No way in hell. I will give that number 10 position to, hell, I'll go Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. Mr. Perfect was a great announcer. I'll go into my top 10. And just Mr. Perfect was a great wrestler and a great competitor and a great commentator. Also, notable mentions, the Macho Man Randy Savage. He was a great announcer in WWE for a while. Then he went on to WCW. He could get back in the ring. My other notable mention, Eric Bischoff. I don't care what you think about him. I don't care what you think about him in TNA. I don't care. I liked him as an announcer. I don't like Michael Cole. I never have. I never will. And I'm not a coal miner. And if I ever was, I would ask somebody to beat the shit out of me because I don't hate Michael Cole, but I don't like him. I don't think he's a good announcer, and I don't think he should be in wrestling. So that's my top 10. Leave your comments. Triple H Guide 2004. Leave your comments. Subscribe. Please. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye.